your #1 news team covering the North. The Bahamas Tonight, Northern Edition.
Welcome back. In a little under a week, many students across Grand Bahama will be heading back to the classrooms for face-to-face instruction. Well, the state of schools was a major concern for many parents and teachers at the close of last term. But tonight, the Minister of State for Disaster Preparedness, Management and Reconstruction, the Honorable Aaron Lewis, says repairs to the 15 local schools are just about complete.
Those schools, those 15 schools in Grand Bahama, are all, most of them are 90, some of them are 100% completed. The ones that are furthest behind will still be in the 80s in terms of like 85% completed. The job is being done to the highest level. We have oversight, we have inspection being done by a team headed by Mr. Braden Miller.
While contractors have been making good progress, Lewis says, unfortunately, there was a casualty during the construction process.
It's very tragic, and I want to send my sincere condolences to the family and also to the construction company for which the young man worked. I understand he has a 3-year-old son, and I know it's going to be hard moving on without his father, but we'll be able to support as best as we can.
Well, in a matter of days, public school students will return to the classrooms in a new learning environment. COVID-19 has changed education as we know it. And tonight, the Bahamas Union of Teachers says the health and safety of its members remain paramount. Jamila Mizik reports.
Bahamas Union of Teachers Grand Bahama Area Vice President Quintin LaRota says some teachers were looking forward to face-to-face learning with minor virtual learning for teachers with comorbidities and other challenges. But because of the number of students and the space available, there has to be a hybrid learning system in some of the schools. He says they have never had to deal with providing an education under the conditions that COVID-19 has presented, but he says their concern as a union is always the health and safety of their members.
And once those safety parameters are met and the operations are consistent with the recommendations from the Ministry of Health, then the union then will just look at how the schools are going to function. Our shop stewards are in constant dialogue with their administrators, and we're trying to figure out what's the best way to get these things done. This kind of environment, this pandemic requires a degree of cooperation, unlike before, because we're blazing new territory, and so we have to see how best we can all put our best foot forward and collaboratively attack this challenge of providing education during this health crisis.
Now, as the Ministry of Education prepares to introduce a new way of learning, LaRota says teachers have mixed emotions.
Some teachers are enthusiastic about seeing the children again being in a regular classroom environment. Those teachers who have some concerns are looking at the virtual situation, even though they don't think it's ideal, but they feel that for their health, it's the best thing at this time. The hybrid situation, I'm just starting to get feedback on it actually this morning. Some teachers have called me and said they just want a face-to-face. They don't want to deal with the hybrid situation, and some are saying they understand it. It's just how it's going to develop and be worked out. How are the logistics going to be done in each school? We're trying to get it done, and there is no point of reference. There's no manual to look at as to what has been done before. And so you're blazing a new trail.
LaRota says this new learning environment requires a high level of competence from administrators, which is the ability to plan and work well with teachers. And he believes this exercise will demonstrate the type of management skills that they have at the schools. And as students prepare to return to the classrooms on October 5th, LaRota says they're pleased with the repairs made to the various schools.
The government has spent over $4 million trying to repair them. You see Jackie went across from our office have this beautiful tin building on it, and a lot of the schools have been repaired and painted. So I have not had any complaints or concerns from teachers in terms of the repairs. It's only now how how are we going to collectively face this challenge and work on a situation that provides optimum education for the kids at this time, but also takes into the consideration what needed to be done in terms of a safe school environment.
Jamila Mizik, ZNS Network News.
Well, a major annual golfing event postponed until next year, according to members of the Grand Bahamas Sports Promotion Association. But tonight, hear why officials are appealing to the government to take immediate action to rescue the island's only golf course. President of the Grand Bahamas Sports Promotion Association, Fred Sturp, says the organization is charged with networking the sporting programs on the island.
Also network in assisting programs like the Hoyts basketball program and several others. We network as well with the Northern Bahamas Golf Junior program as well. So we're very intricate in the sports development of the island.
But he says, unfortunately, their major annual event had to be postponed this year.
The St. George Memorial Tournament, we'll have to postpone that in 2020. And it's for a number of reasons. Of course, you know, with the protocols of people having to quarantine for 14 days when they come out of New Providence and also out of the United States. It just doesn't make the whole situation conducive for us to hold the event, because a lot of our players come from out of New Providence, and this year we had a number of them scheduled to come in from West Palm Beach.
However, there is a greater issue that golfers on the island are facing, and that's the poor condition of the Lakaya Reef Golf Course. According to Vice President Ambrose Guthrow, this course was purchased by the government along with the hotel. However, this attraction and place of competitive action for many golfers here on the island is not being maintained.
However, the Reef Golf Course during the pandemic has had its challenges with regard to maintenance, employees being able to work. So the conditioning of the golf course is not very good as a golf course. It's frustrating sometimes to go out and play it. I know the staff are doing the best that they can with the circumstances that they're given. But somebody needs to wake up in Freeport, in my opinion, or on Grand Bahama, and recognize that at least one good golf course is essential to the future of Grand Bahama if we intend to attract people to come here to live during the winter time or in the summertime.
He adds that tourists need more than sand, sun, and sea when they come to visit. And many come to relax and play a round of golf or two. Locals, he adds, are also at a major disadvantage.
It is unfortunate, but the future of golf is at stake because there is no practice facility. There's no area where you can create a playing format for young golfers. The price might get a little bit expensive even for the local golfers, and nobody seems to be serious about maintaining the golf course to a standard a golf course should be maintained to. But also there's a lot of concern out there as to what will happen to the golf course if the sales goes through. There's no contact between the government or any entity to the Bahamas Golf Federation or to the local golfing community saying, look, if this is sold, then you guys are going to be okay. You're not going to pay an exorbitant fee if you want to play the game. It would be horrendous if people here in Grand Bahama, I'm talking about local residents and people who work here and Bahamians, if they had to travel to Nassau or to the United States to play a round of golf, especially when we had 7 golf courses, great golf courses, and now we have, I'm sorry to say, not a very good situation.
He says Grand Bahama once boasted of having 17 or 18 hole golf courses and is now down to 1. That is subpar at best. They are appealing to the powers that be to pay immediate attention to the Reef Golf Course for the sake of resident golfers and tourists alike. Now, we spoke to an official who says they understand the complaint and the matter is being addressed by management as they want to offer the very best to participating golfers under the current circumstances. And that's a look at stories making news. Stay with us. Our Facebook friend of the day up next.